We're already riding on a steep part here, and then suddenly it kicks into a different steepness in gradient here in front. Welcome back to Vander's View channel and to the beautiful Ribbokskloof farm where I stayed the night here at Ribbokskloof Cottages. What a beautiful, beautiful place. Just look at the views over the valley here, and then also right next to the mountain. I am just about 5 kilometers or so outside the town of Op-die-Berg, which is right here on the Cedarberg. So if you have not seen how I ended up in Op-die-Berg and eventually at Ribbokskloof Cottages for the night, please go and have a look at my previous video. This trip already started, or this series of trips already started 2 days ago, and yesterday I crossed the Middelberg, which was a beautiful, beautiful ride. So if you want to see that, that is all in the previous video. But yeah, I had a wonderful night here. I was received by Velma. I simply booked Ribbokskloof Cottages over lekker slaap, and what a find. She tells me that these cottages were only, well, they only started renting them out for self-catering accommodation from February this year, and now it's June, so they are really only doing it for a few months now. But it is an absolute splendid place to stay. Neat, very tastefully decorated, the units, and I even had a small little fireplace in my unit. It was a bit chilly last night, but not as cold as this Op-die-Berg area can become. Yeah, I'm glad to be back on the bike and continuing with the trip. I'm very excited about this very next trip that I'm going to do. But where are we going today? We are going to the town of Cedarberg. That is the final destination for today. It is about 136 kilometers because, of course, I'm not going to take the shortest route. I'm going to take the most scenic route and the one that will potentially bring the most adventure. I'm still riding on the farm property, so it is a connection of farms. This is Ribbokskloof, and then it goes on to Bronnaar. But what a professional setup here. They produce apples amongst other things, and I had some of the apples that they left in the unit, so it was really great. So let me first get off the farm, and then I will tell you a bit more about the trip that I'm doing today. Yeah, today is the 16th of June, so it is the first month of winter already in South Africa. But this weekend, today is a Monday, it's actually a public holiday today, and it is a long weekend. But we were very lucky. I was very lucky over the past 3 days or so to have very, very good weather. It didn't feel like winter, it was sunshine and just perfect for riding. And today, it seems, is also going to be a day that is just made for motorcycle riding. It is a bit chilly this morning, but nothing as what it could have been this time of the year. This farm is really situated in a beautiful, beautiful valley here. So the town of Op-die-Berg is to that side. That is part of the Cedarberg. So that town Op-die-Berg, of course, means on the mountain. It was built on the mountain. So it is relatively high altitude here. Yeah, the last autumn colors are still visible here. Although we're in June already, these leaves will probably soon all drop, but it makes for the most beautiful variation in yellow and brown and red colors. It is now 7 minutes past 8, so the sun has risen. No, this farm is certainly a professional setup. I mean, tar roads on the farm. You can see some of the large transport trucks also accessing the farm. The GPS wants to take me to the left. Let me see whether I can exit here on the left. Yeah, indeed, the gate seems to be open. So I'm connecting up now with the road that comes from Op-die-Berg from that side. And of course, this road is the road that takes you into the Cedarberg and also the Cedarberg. All clear. Yeah, so as I said, this road takes us into the Cedarberg, but we're going to make a turn off to the right from this road in about 12 kilometers from now. Because the road that I'm going to take today is, I've never ridden it before, I've never driven it before, but I think it can arguably be regarded as the road that is the gateway between the Katbakkies and the Cedarberg. So we are of course now in the Katbakkies, so this area on top of the Cedarberg, Katbakkies. Koue of course means cold, and this place is renowned for being a very, very cold place in winter. Today I'm still lucky. I think the real cold typically July, August. We're only now in mid-June, and even the snow might come a bit later, and of course that is also associated with lots of rain during that time. On this road that goes to the Cedarberg, that connects the Katbakkies with the Cedarberg, there are some mountains to cross, some higher areas to cross, and at least 2 passes we will find on this road. And the first one is the Katbakkies Pass. Now, it's an interesting name. We're about 23 kilometers away from the Katbakkies Pass, and then the next pass is the Ribbokskloof Pass, or also the Cedarberg Pass. And apparently when you cross over the Cedarberg Pass, oh, just look at these beautiful buildings. Apparently when you pass over the Cedarberg Pass, you have some of the most beautiful views over the Cedarberg. So I'm quite excited to see this. And the Cedarberg Pass is about 50 kilometers from Op-die-Berg, so just a little bit further. Of course, I'm doing this trip on my trusted Honda CRF 300 Rally. It's the same bike I've done all the videos and previous series with. Now this bike is just a joy to ride. We are really now in the southern reaches of the Cedarberg. So this is where it starts, and one can already see beautiful rock formations here next to the road. I'm always amazed at the variation in rock structures and rock features that you can see in these mountains. So you can explore the Cedarberg in many parts and see different things all the time. Beautiful. So we have now reached the turnoff. I see they call it the Swartrug Pad, the Swartrug Road. So it's down here, so we Swartrug Road, Cedarberg Road. They also refer to this as the Cedarberg Road. It's actually the road that turns where the tar road turns into a dirt road, and immediately this is also a dirt road. How much fun is this? Great. Oh, I'm looking a bit into the sun, so it makes my visibility a bit compromised, but I will take it slow. Yeah, so we are turning our sights now to the Tankakuru side, and this is the road that will take us out of the Katbakkies. Yeah, as far as I can see, we are still about 10 kilometers to go to the summit of the Katbakkies Pass, but some climbing is already starting. Oh. And this immediately brings us some beautiful views. What a lovely road this is. It's just perfect for motorcycling. I just made a quick stop here next to the road to enjoy a bit of the quiet. Oh, this is beautiful. Unfortunately, the road runs a bit straight into the sun at the moment, but yeah, if you just look back a bit, it reveals beautiful, beautiful landscapes. But yeah, let's go. It's about 8.5 kilometers still to get to Katbakkies, but I think that is to the summit of Katbakkies Pass. So we will probably start to make the ascent a bit before that. And everywhere there are different kinds of rock formations. No, this road is really a road of discovery for me. When I planned the trip, I saw this road and I read up a bit about it, but it's already proving to be much more beautiful than I thought it's going to be. I seem to find this quite often when I take new roads. I'm not quite sure what my expectations are, but they are typically exceeded. And the road is in a very good condition. I mean, I can easily ride faster than this, but of course I don't want to rush things, so this helps. because sometimes if the road is really in a bad condition, you don't have time to appreciate all the beauty that you ride through. So as far as I know, most of this road is unpaved, but apparently the summit part of Katbakkies Pass has been tarred more recently, in 1999. Yeah, so it's not all dirt roads, but a few short tarred parts to this. Yeah, I suppose that is the Katbakkies mountains there in front, and that is where we need to cross over. We are making a bit of a descent actually before we get to the pass. Yeah, I can already see the outline of the pass in front. Yeah, it certainly looks very steep. Yeah, now that looks like an exciting ride. Sure, no, this is a beautiful, beautiful road. Oh. Sure, very interesting to see some sand dunes here. I didn't expect this. Ah, here next to the road, can you see the sand? Huh. Reminds me of the Sandveld, where I rode there in the area of Redlinghuis and Aurora in the previous series. I really struggled with sand, so I hope it doesn't mean there's sand coming on this road. You can see here next to the road it is quite sandy. Okay, the crossing of the river here means it's the start of the Katbakkies Pass. Okay, yeah, so now it is a bit of tar road. Yeah, so the road goes up and then it crosses right there at the top. Yeah, so the Katbakkies Pass is the pass that crosses the Katbakkies mountain. Now, this pass is renowned or known to be quite steep. It's got an average gradient of 1 to 13, which may not sound that hectic, but apparently there are certain parts of the pass where the gradient goes to 1 to 4. Yeah, it means every 4 meters you go forward you rise 1 meter, so that sounds quite steep. So might be a bit of a challenge for the CRF 300 rally, but I don't really think so. You can see the ascent is really steep here. Now Katbakkies, that is an interesting name, and nobody really knows where the name comes from, but there are two theories, so you can decide which one you select. Now Katbakkies, in Afrikaans, bakkies means face and kat means cat, so it seems to refer to the face of a cat. Now apparently some parts of this mountain resembles the face of a cat, and that is where the Katbakkies name comes from. That's the first theory. The second one is, in Afrikaans, when we talk about the boot of a car, we say it is the katbak. And of course, if you drive a car in reverse, that is your most or your strongest gear. So they say that this pass is so steep that you actually have to do it in reverse. So you need to ride in the direction of your katbak, or the boot of the car. Now, so that's the second theory. I don't know which one is correct, but it's certainly an interesting play of words to then also refer to this pass. Yeah, and it is steep. So we're already riding on a steep part here, and then suddenly it kicks into a different steepness ingredient here in front. But just look at the views back. Yeah. Okay, let's just take this one. This is quite steep. Sure. But yeah, it's not a very long pass. We are almost at the summit of the pass. I think it's going up a little bit more. Yeah, but the views are so beautiful. Yeah, I think we've now reached the summit. Let's make a stop. I made a stop here next to the road in the Katbakkies Pass. We are not quite at the summit yet, but just felt this is maybe a good place to stop and just have a bit of a look back from where we came. So the Katbakkies now lies in that direction, and we are actually heading in the opposite direction to the Swartrug Road. But yeah, the views from here is simply spectacular. And it's certainly a very steep pass. It is not a very long pass, but it's got its steep sections. Yeah, but yeah, just enjoy this view with me. This was a great stop. Now onto the summit of the Katbakkies Pass. There's some information about the Katbakkies Pass. So they just talk about when it was upgraded in 1999. So this is when the pass was tarred. The summit of the Katbakkies Pass is at about 1,200 meter altitude. It's quite high up, and that is why snow typically falls here in winter. It's well above the snow line. Yeah, beautiful rock formations here. So this Katbakkies Pass actually in the old days was a sheep trekking route over the mountain. So I mean, long before there was a path or a road for cars and so on, there was already a route through this mountain in this section for trekking with sheep. So now we've reached the summit. And the dirt road again. Katbakkies, yeah, that is a pass that one can certainly ride. It is very, very beautiful. But now on to Ribbokskloof Pass, or also known as the Cedarberg Pass. And I suppose you need to cross that next mountain to get to it.